So without meeting them, being in a virtual platform, without actually interacting them on one-on-one, how are you able to manage?
Touch is a very important aspects of early growing up.
So today, in the online learning or the e-learning, what has shifted? How have you adapted to the new change?
I was very apprehensive.
These creative kids are definitely a boon. And in formative years, the kids are always their eyes to learn and brains to absorb. So what do an adult or a teacher needs to know about the child?
Formative years is the most important part of anybody's life.
ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ ಪ್ರಜಾವಾಹಿನಿಗೆ ಸ್ವಾಗತ. ನಾನು ಅರ್ಚನಾ ಸ್ವಾಮಿ. ಇವತ್ತಿನ ಲೈಫ್ ಸ್ಟೈಲ್ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮದಲ್ಲಿ ದ ಚಿಲ್ಡ್ರನ್ಸ್ ಡೇ ಇಸ್ ಅರೌಂಡ್ ದ ಕಾರ್ನರ್. And today we have the Florets Academy's founder principal Deepa Ravichandran with us to discuss about Montessori education and much more about the younger children. Namaskara ma'am.
Namaskara.
ನಮ್ಮ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ವಾಗತ.
It's a pleasure for me and it's a pleasure meeting all of you.
How has the 15-year-long journey of successfully running Florets Academy has been?
It has been a wonderful journey for me, 15 long years. Though it seems long, it has every single day has been a joyous experience for me. Being with children is the best thing that has happened to me in life. I started my career as a techie, but there was a point in my life when my family needed my presence. So I joyfully decided to be a beautiful housewife, a caring mom, and a caring daughter-in-law. And I was a housewife for almost 13 years. Happily doing all that was needed for the family. My children had grown up and I was also looking out for doing something different. So that was a time when my second daughter started going to the Montessori environment. And my first daughter had also gone through the Montessori curriculum, and I was debating what if I become a Montessori teacher so that I will be able to balance my house and career. So that was how it all started.
Lovely. So your children basically motivated you to choose a path of Montessori.
Yes. And the philosophy itself. The way they learned was different for sure. And the best thing that I observed in my children is every single day of schooling was such a joyful experience for them. You know, I said, oh, wow. Okay, they never wanted a holiday. They always wanted to, they were looking forward to going to school.
Montessori's focus is mainly on social development of the child. And what do you do? What are your efforts in enhancing that part of the child's development?
Yes, the Montessori philosophy actually takes care of the overall development of the child, and social development being one of a very key aspect of the developmental need of the child is also being taken care of so beautifully. The way they live in the Montessori environment is something very unique, which helps in this. We don't actually put in a lot of effort offering so many different things, but the way they live in the environment actually helps them. For example, we have vertical age grouping in the classroom. That means 2.5-year-old children to 6.5-year-old children are there in the same classroom, okay? And each one is developing, working on what he or she has to do, and the developmental pace is also different. So that itself tells us that they start living as a community. Right? It is not just one group of children or one age group of children. From 2.5, they learn to live as a group or a society that we call, and they are there for each other when each of them need them. Most of the time when a teacher is offering a lesson to another child, and if a smaller child needs help, he doesn't wait for the teacher. He is so comfortable, he will go and take help from an older child. Same way, there is a lot of opportunity for these children to showcase their leadership qualities as well. They embrace the whole community as is, okay? So that is something which is very unique in the Montessori environment, and I feel that's the best thing that can happen to a child when at a very formative age for social development.
Lovely. And the Montessori education not only gives that social development but also makes sure the best qualities of the child are enhanced. also have a positive attitude towards life. So how are all those put together?
Yes, again, I'm coming back to my original statement that the way they live in the environment, they're never judged. Okay, and we accept the child as is. Okay, every single teacher considers that particular child or every single child as their own. Okay, so the feeling of it's my house. It's all the Montessori classrooms have always been a home away from home for every single child. So once that the child also feels that, oh, here I'm accepted, I'm not judged. Okay, he starts behaving very naturally. Okay, probably that is something which they is sowed at a very early age, that they carry it throughout their life. And this is probably one thing I feel that builds their emotional stability. Okay, one constant feedback I've been getting from my parents of children who have passed out of florets is that their EQ levels are extremely high. Okay, and they can make themselves very comfortable in any strange situations, and the confidence level that they are establishing is also amazing. So I feel that somewhere down the line it has sunk into them, or it's become a part of the personality. Okay, and that is why they are displaying these behaviors.
It's definitely a different way to approach the younger ones, definitely. So today in the online learning or the e-learning, what has shifted? How have you adapted to the new change?
I was very apprehensive initially when we had to this COVID. I was literally worried. How am I going to offer Montessori education through online? Because we strongly believe in hands-on activities and giving stimulus to the hands and senses. So given that background, and I was also not sure how much of screen time is allowed. Okay, we also need to have that in mind, because we should not offer something which is not suitable for children. At the same time, it should be effective, right? These small children are used to seeing a teacher, working with the teacher, okay, face to face, touching them, cuddling them, working hands-on materials and so forth. And I cannot expect parents to have a Montessori setup at home.
Exactly, it's an activity-based setup. The environment is completely with some of the other activity.
Correct.
So how can you manage that online?
Correct. So that was the challenge. But slowly I got courage, and then that was sometime that we had to brainstorm, and our creative antenna rose up. What can we do? One, we took help of something called the Exercise of Practical Life activities to start with, because these are things that are available in the house, okay, with kitchen, with materials in the kitchen, with your tumblers and davras and spoons. You can do wonderful developmental activities. Okay, so we had a meeting with parents and we asked them if they would help us. They were very willing. Okay, and we told them that for the next 1 year you have to step in our shoes and you have to be teachers. We will guide you, because they are not equipped to, they don't know what exactly needs to be done. So we will guide them with the developmental needs of the child, and we even actually parents started sitting through our classes, getting themselves trained so that they can offer it to their children.
Wow, that's amazing.
That was such a beautiful thing, which gave me courage to take things forward.
Parents being an active part is definitely very interesting to know. But touch is an important aspect for the young children or the toddlers. So without meeting them, being in a virtual platform, without actually interacting them on one-on-one, how were you able to manage?
That's really beautiful. Yes, as you have correctly pointed out, touch is a very, very, very important aspects of early growing up, okay, early childhood. So more than children, I think we adults are missing that touch and coziness of children. Yes, now there is a loads of virtual hugging happening, and the touch now happens through warmth in our tone.
Wow.
And the way we interact with children and the warmth that we show in the relationship that we have, probably that is substituting the touch. But and as a team, all of us at Florets are also missing this beautiful touch and feel of my little ones.
Yeah, it's always beautiful to hold the young children.
I know,
and
they are
they're so
so
beautiful.
cute.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, so cute.
So, what other adaptations had you been through in this process?
When it came to online classes, we started making kits. Okay, we felt that a whole load of exercise of practical life activities. We took help from the parents and whatever was there in the household, but we also felt that there was other aspects. We have to give them other stimulus to other senses, so sensorial materials, and to language and arithmetic materials. We started creating our own kits, and we started distributing it. So once in every month we would send them a kit, and they would take it home, and we would ensure that children work with those materials. Training was given to parents and older children.
Like you're teaching the teachers also, the parents also, and the younger kids also.
And then we also monitored how they're working, and we also offered necessary help. Okay, so that was something which happened. That was one of the major.
So for the complete year, you're going to be online?
Yes, we will be online, because for us, safety of children is the priority. While I would definitely like to meet them, have physical interaction, it is not the right thing as of now. Okay, and because they're very young, and we have to take care of the social norms as well, right? Social distancing. Okay, you know, as adults, it's very difficult to touch them, hug them. How will a child cope up, right? The moment they see a friend, the first thing they would always want to go and give him a big hug, because they're all missing all these things. These are all biological needs of any human being, right? That's how it is. So we understand that, and therefore we feel that we have to wait or till things settle down. Probably this academic year will go this way, and we are definitely trying to do what best we can do.
ನಮ್ಮ ಮಕ್ಕಳ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಮಾಡೋದು ನಮಗೆ ದೊಡ್ಡ ವಿಷಯ ಆಗಿಬಿಟ್ಟಿದೆ. ಇವಾಗ ಕ್ಲಾಸಲ್ಲಿ ಆನ್ಲೈನ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸಲ್ಲಿ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಲ್ಯಾಪ್ಟಾಪ್ ಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಇಲ್ಲ ಫೋನ್ ಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸಾಕಷ್ಟು ಅದು ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಮಾಡೋಣ ಅಂತ ಟ್ರೈ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೂ ಬೇರೆ ಚಾಲೆಂಜಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಬೇರೆ ಏನೂ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಟಿವಿಟಿ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ವಾಟ್ ಆರ್ ದ ಚಾಲೆಂಜಸ್ ಯು ಫೇಸ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಪ್ರಾಸೆಸ್, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ parents are not able is not a right word maybe. It's like parents are having their own challenges engaging the children a complete day. So what are your challenges in bringing them to the screen and making them effectively sit in front of your classrooms?
Yeah, as we were having interactions with parents, this is one of the very important challenge which was brought out by them. One thing is, this is an age when children want to play, go outside and play. But unfortunately, due to this COVID situation, they were not able to play. So that one important aspect of life was removed from their routine. Okay, so they were limited to play with their family members and whoever were there in their house. Okay, so and both the parents were working. Right? Working from home started happening, and they didn't know how to engage the child. So eventually, the best way to babysit the child was give him a technical device, and then make him keep quiet. Okay, because they didn't have a choice rather. Because if the parents were not working, and if they had time, at least they would spend some time playing with them and compensating the thing that they're deprived of going out and playing, right? So that would have been taken care of. So parents were really worried, and on top of it, they were also worried, how are we going to manage screen time, because classes are also going to happen online. So this is one reason which we made us think that, okay, as educationalists, what is it that we have to do? Okay, we also have to take the ownership of helping children in this crisis. So IMC, the Indian Montessori Council, all of us, I'm also a part of a member of the IMC. All of us met together as Montessorians, and then we decided how is it that we can have. We brainstormed, and we wanted to do something for the child so that it is going to be useful for him, and it is the best thing that we can do during this crisis. Okay, because we also believe that screen time is not a great idea for children. We know that it's a detrimental stimulus at this age group. The age group that I'm talking is about 0 to 6 years. Okay, so then we decided, okay, we know that what are the things that the child will have to learn during this developmental stage. So that is the time each one of us came up with creative ideas, making materials and kits. We said, if I'm going to ask the child not to use a device, then I must give him something so that he keeps himself occupied during that period of time. Okay, so then we wanted to, and this is also an age when a child wants to learn something by repetition and he wants to work with his hands and senses. So if I'm going to give him some developmental activity which will keep him occupied, more than occupied, which will keep him interested, then it is going to be useful for him. So then that is where we Montessorians stepped in and started creating a lot of Montessori materials, which became the kits and now is in every child's house.
That's very interesting. Parents, rather than having time or not having time, they might not be creative enough to engage the child. So your kids will definitely, are helpful for the kids.
Definitely.
These creative kids are definitely a boon. And in formative years, the kids are always their eyes to learn and brains to absorb. So what do an adult or a teacher needs to know about the child?
Formative years is the most important part of anybody's life. Okay, studies tell us that a child's personality gets developed when he is around 6 years, and 90% of the brain development happens before 6 years. So that itself tells us how important this formative years is going to be. This is an age when the child responds beautifully to things that is offered to him through hands and senses. So as parents, if you would want him to learn something, words, have less of words and give him more experiences. Okay, experiential learning is the best way to offer anything to a child in the formative age, because the child's brain is going to understand that language than the words.
Oh, awesome.
Okay, so that is why the Montessori system itself is developed in such a way that even an abstract science like math is offered to the hands and senses. When I say 1 or 1,000 or million, we offer the quantity to the child so that he experiences the 1,000 or a million. It is just not 1,000 on a board, but he sees the quantity. When he sees the quantity, his understanding of maths becomes more relevant for him because he appreciates it in a very concrete way.
Montessori aids child-centric education, and individualized, personalized learning has not been a very familiar experience from a parent's perspective. So how would you want to make a parent understand about the learning that's happening in a Montessori school or a Montessori platform?
All of us will agree that each one of us have our own developmental traits, okay, and pace. Same with the child, right? When a child enters a Montessori environments, the teacher observes the child, okay, and we have a work plan for each child, and we start our work with each child. The child has the freedom to progress at his pace, okay. His next work plan will be decided by the child and not by the teacher. The child decides how fast or how slow he has to move on, or we as teachers are only facilitators, providing him the necessary stimulus. We continue to provide the necessary stimulus for each child, and the child takes it forward. That's the beauty of the method. And because the ownership is with the child and we are just facilitators providing what he needs, it happens beautifully. There is absolutely hardly any developmental lag, okay, because
for young parents, they might not be aware of it.
Correct.
They might have their own doubts in this competitive world. How is my child going to learn? So what would you suggest them?
You don't need to actually worry, okay. Actually the philosophy aids in helping the child develop his personality, okay. To be precise, if for example, we help the child develop confidence. we help the child develop joy for learning. It happens naturally as the child starts working because it goes in line with his natural development, right? That's how it is. So when that happens, when he is confident, when he has thirst for learning, when he when he wants to do a lot of things, whatever you offer he is going to learn. So I don't really need to worry, will he learn my ABC, will he learn his numbers, or will he learn his basic skills. Okay, when the interest is induced, or when the food, I always say, when you offer food interesting enough to the child, why do you think the child will not consume it? He will joyfully consume it and ask for more. That's the best thing that happens in a Montessori
Amazing way to
classroom.
say it out. Lovely, lovely. Very, very interesting. That's why your Mont out kids, like 6 years old, are like full of life, full of learning, full of interest. But grade 1 and 2 of a regular school sometimes feels that they're undoing what has been done in Montessori. So how can we manage our children being a lifelong learners irrespective of the school they go or the syllabus they follow or whatever they are, wherever they are? How can we just maintain the spirit of Montessori go forward?
One thing I would always say is, as you said, my children carry it with them. Okay, they are equipped, okay, to face a bigger school, bigger audience, and a different routine. All of us have the tendency to adapt, right? Don't we adapt? All of I know our young parents, you keep traveling, right? They go out for jobs. And how long does it take for you to adapt yourself in a different country, speaking different language, different food, and so forth, right? So tendency to adapt is there in all of us, okay? Even more for a Montessori child because of the way that they have lived in the Montessori environment. 4 years, okay, is not a joke, okay? There they've lived a way where nobody fusses. Things are accepted. If somebody spills something, they know how to rectify it. They will wipe it, they will clean it. When something is, when they're carrying materials, when it is too heavy, sometimes they drop, okay? Nobody is going to fuss about it. They know how to act after something has happened. So I feel that they are more equipped to handle changes. They are more equipped to handle difficult situations because of the way they've lived. It's all right. They're definitely non-fussy children, I feel. Okay. And one more thing which I've always observed in in our children is that they're very empathetic to everybody around them. Okay, they are very non-judging, and one constant feedback that I've been getting from parents is that they make themselves visible to a teacher, because when they go to a traditional classroom setup, they have to be one among 30 or 40. So, but somehow within the 10 days, these children make themselves visible because they don't hesitate to make friends with the teacher. The concept called fear is not there in the Montessori classroom. They have the freedom to express. Okay, even if they want to come to a teacher and say, "Auntie, I don't like the color of the saree you wear," they come and voice it out. They are not judged. We laugh with them. Okay, we respect his thoughts. Okay, so they grew up that way. So the concept called fear is not there. Because of that, what happens is they don't have the inhibition to take the first foot forward. Probably because of that, their chance of adapting themselves into a new strange situation is more joyful. Okay, that's what I feel. So that's one reason why our children are really amazing in any strange situation, be it a new school or new place. What should we adults do to help them maintain the spirit of Montessori? We don't need to worry. Children will take it forward. All that we can do is not to dampen their spirit and encourage them in whatever they're doing.
The spirit of Montessori is definitely going to be taken forward by our children. And what do you have to say it or sum it up with the new educational policy inculcating the Montessori way of education being a part of regular education from now on?
Education is a natural process carried out by the child, acquired not by listening to words, but by his experiences in the environment, says Dr. Montessori. And the 4 C's that our national education policy is talking is about communication, collaborating, critical thinking, and creativity. It's all there, very much embedded as a part of the Montessori living or the Montessori philosophy. So we feel that this new education policy is a boon, and we also feel very happy that this aspect of Montessori philosophy is being considered in today's policy as well.
Montessori is definitely offering a lot. So can you give me 3 things what we can take away from today's session about Montessori?
Wow, 3 things. If I have to think about it, then I would definitely like to mention 3 points as takeaways from a Montessori classroom. One is the literacy, next is the competency for problem solving, and the character building. When I say literacy, our children will be able to connect the real life situation to whatever knowledge that they have learned, and then their problem solving skills are amazing, and because of the way that they've grown up in a Montessori classroom, that is going to help them build that. And the most important is the character building. They learn to face change, the ever changing world, with much more confidence. Their resilience is amazing. I can vouch for that, because over years that is one thing which I've been hearing as feedback from parents whose children have been studying in Florets.
That's perfectly summed up. The beauty of Montessori in 3 things. ನಮಗೆ ಮಾಂಟೆಸರಿ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಇಷ್ಟೆಲ್ಲ ವಿಷಯಗಳನ್ನ ಅದ್ಭುತವಾಗಿ ತಿಳಿಸ್ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದ ದೀಪಾ ರವಿಚಂದ್ರನ್ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು ತಿಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮವನ್ನು ಮುಗಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು.